Can you hear me now? Please, God, just work. Okay. You guys can hear me now? That's... Thank you. Thank you, Hydra. I appreciate it. And I don't know what I did. I literally had the same buttons on my mixer, and they were green the whole time, and finally they're working. So... Jesus Christ on a cracker. Okay, so I guess we'll start off by saying, hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Unlike me, apparently. Fuck's sake. Stephen Cooper for $5. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Shout out to Potentially Boomer here. All right. Mystery Sniper says, wish my wife could do that. Yeah. Oh. Thank you, the GM. Yes, the yeses are the real trolls. All right, let's get back to the things that matter most. Who was first? Toothless, you were first. Congratulations, because that's what matters most. Amateur Iconoclast, hello. Fair Frozen, hello. Alpha, hello. The Suiar says Kiwi Farm stuff line, yeah. Apparently Null said that he's waiting on a server, so he wants to do some weird stuff. So apparently he'll be back up tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of muted. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Why is this not... That was weird. Chat did not want to load up. Do I know sign language? No, I do not. Yes, Jim, I did see that case, and we're going to talk about it for a minute because it is very interesting. Yes, the feds say apparently doing a straw purchase is not illegal if your parents do it for you, which I think is a hilarious thing for them to put in a filing because, you know, at some point, I think people are going to be able to say, I have a reasonable defense to rely on that if they're advocating for it. So I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far, a good week so far, getting ready for a good weekend. Dee says, you watched Trump rape a woman on CNN. And I was like, yes, he did. Oh, my God. He beat the brakes off that lady. I mean, she needed a rape kit getting done after that one. Oof. That was a whooping. Sue Swami is saying, today's my birthday. Well, happy birthday. Yes, Chaucer and Fraud is right. CNN did shorten it by 20 minutes because they weren't doing so well. Yes, that was the best part of all. You know, he said a lot of things I didn't like, but it was just funny watching him go to town like that. That's the best part, for me at least. And then we got a couple people over in the Rumble ghetto. In the ghetto, where the snow flies. We got Winter Soldier Bulldozer hanging out over there. We got J-Man as well. Dee, I'd say, well, actually, let's just question real quick. Is it true that there's a firm you don't see as a purchaser that FFLs fill it when you buy multiple handguns at the same time? It depends on your locations. If you're in the border states, buying multiple firearms at the same time, especially rifles, does get you a report is sent on to the ATF, and they might investigate that. So, yes, it's very true. It does exist. So, I guess we'll give it another couple minutes, see where everybody else is. Hardwall is saying Biden versus Tucker. I want to see Biden versus RFK Jr. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Scully says, I'm an ATF informant. I inform they're gay on a daily basis. You know what? I don't think they need to be informed of that. I'm pretty sure they know that. I'm pretty sure they know. If I had to guess. And that's just like I said, just a guess. Oh, I know why did I do this before. Stack these up and Commander Rose says, "Hey, hope I'm having a good night. Thank you. I think I got some of the whatever they spray on our grass in my eye, so my eye is like watering up, and it kind of stings just a little bit. But I'll survive. I will survive." Pike said CNN the ratings 100%. Tarkina for $10. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. Appreciate that. Says thoughts on the Danny Masterson trial. Apparently, the defense released the prosecution released the discovery files of the Church of Scientology. Well, I mean, it's that's absent in order not to. There's really, once you discovery is disclosed, it's out there. So, generally speaking, if somebody were to ask me for something out of a file, I'd check that, make sure I have permission from my client, even if it's a police report or something. But typically, once a case is over, or, because he's already had the one trial, that stuff can get released. And there's nothing necessarily stopping me from releasing it or leaking it during the pendency of a trial, unless there's a gag order or it's something super sensitive. Such as like anything like special victim information that might be protected under Marcy's law. But, I can release police reports. I can release expert testimony. I don't know if I'd ever do that because I'd be worried about poisoning the well. But I think Danny Masterson and Scientology want to fight their own fight. So it's not good, but they have their own reasons for it. And I assume, like I said, they want to fight. They want to fight the way they normally do. And if you guys have ever watched Going Clear or Leah Remini stuff, Scientology fights its battles a certain way. A lot of pressure and a lot of like terrorism and extortion. I'm saying that'll probably get Scientology to come after me. So yeah, it's not good, but that's what they do. So, all right, we're going to get into this real quick. Stormcrow says, why do we care? He was lying. Well, it's interesting. We'll get to that. We're going to start this with George Santos. It's interesting to see what he did or is alleged to have done, because it's kind of like this is like a really basic way of getting caught. Like, I can't believe this happened. Like, I'm very surprised. I'm totally surprised this happened the way it did, and we're gonna go for it. We're gonna look into it. So, Noel's saying, did you see the Daniel Perry judge saying outside research is okay? No, I did not see that. I'm gonna have to make a note because I want to look into that, because if he really did do that, that deserves kind of like its own thing. All right, so let's see. Oh, it's Cedar. Oh, it's not Cedar, not Commander. Sorry, Rose. Cedar Rose. Okay, well, wasn't sure if it's Commander Rose because that's technically the abbreviation. Yes, some of that glycophosphate. It's whatever the Green X stuff they spray. He sprayed it really early in the day, but I think I actually got a little in my eye. I said, don't take all the ducks. Yes, I'm taking too many ducks from the park. You know, government doesn't want you to know this, but you can take ducks from the park. I have 484 in my house. Thoughts on Judge Shear? We'll get to her. Because I do think it's interesting. It certainly has nothing to do with how I think she probably handled herself. And all of that. I mean, certainly, definitely wouldn't do that. So let's get on to it. Oh, Jim is saying with the Danny Master thing, real quick. From what he's seen, the defense has notified the judge that they received discovery from the church the state withheld. Ooh. Well, that's interesting, but Scientology is one of the few groups that could do its own investigating. So, wouldn't surprise me if the prosecutors withheld stuff. I mean, that never, ever, ever happens. So, all right, let's get to George Santos. If you guys weren't aware, George Santos, and I guess we'll bring his picture up since we got to do it, since he is a congressman from Long Island. He's elected as part of the Republican Party. He is just, guy is weird looking. I don't know about you guys. He just something about him. I mean, here's George Santos. He wears that sweater under his jacket all the time. He's got those glasses. I mean, he just looks something about him. So, yeah. So he was indicted. He's charged with fraud, and it's not lying. It's a lot more than lying. But it's interesting how they charge it out. What they did with that, he was charged in a 13-count indictment out of the Eastern District of New York, which covers Long Island, was through a couple different things here. So we'll just start at the beginning. So he's got a bunch of charges, and some of them are obviously this one here. We all know what 1001 is. That's making false statements to government officials. So he lied to investigators at some point, it sounds like. But we'll see with the rest of it. So his full name is George Anthony DeVolder Santos. Okay. Lived in Queens and Suffolk counties. That's on Long Island if you're not familiar with it. He campaigned for a House position. He was elected in 2022, if you guys remember. So he started the DeVolder organization, which was a Florida LLC in 2021, and he is the beneficial owner of it. Okay, which that's not illegal. You have an issue with, though, it starts, and this is where, if this is all true, this is not done. There are better ways to skim money. This was not done the right way. Company One is a company that the grand jury knows about, and at the time, Company One had two authorized managers. One of them was the LLC that George Santos had. So, you can see where this is going here. It's already sounding a little bit sketchy. So there was a Person One, and that they, at the direction of Santos, acted on behalf of Company One. That company he is partially in control of. So in and about this part here, which he was employed in an investment firm as a regional director, okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. They claim that he fraudulently induced supporters to contribute funds to Company One under a false pretense. The money would be used to support his candidacy, then actually spending on $1,000 of personal expenses, including designer clothing and credit card payments. If that's true, you are not allowed to do that. That is illegal. You cannot spend money like that personally. Now, you are allowed to use that to, if you need suits or if you needed a haircut, things like that, sure. But you can't use it to pay down your personal debt and buy yourself personal items. He also communicated to people that Company One was a 501c4 tax-exempt organization and that contributions will be made used in independent expenditures in support of his candidacy. Basically, he's trying to say Company Number One was going to be operating like a super PAC as well, because it's going to be independent expenditures. Well, it was neither a 501c4 group, nor was it an expenditure committee, meaning it wasn't a super PAC and it wasn't a tax-exempt organization. Uh-oh. And he converted most of those funds to his own personal benefit. Now, we're going to say, yes, they're all crooks in Congress. All of them are crooks. The rest of them are just a lot better at hiding this than he was. Because this is not... I don't think the feds are completely lying. I mean, yes, they lie about a lot of things, but this all just seems like it's very straightforward. And why are they going after him? Well, it turns out he's completely lied about everything. So he is not a very well-liked person. Even in his own party, there's not a lot of support for him. So he's low-hanging fruit. That's why he's getting picked up. I mean, if they went after all the Congress for this, they could. But they don't. Why? Well, because Congress is really good at protecting itself. So, as Porcelain says, it was neither super nor a PAC. And yes, Harbor Walbro says, yes, this was a cash-strapped mattress. Yes. Oh, Patty's right. If you get accused immediately of a crime, come out as a troon. That's not a bad idea. But as we get back to this, it starts laying things out. The campaign finance laws. In particular, you can do unlimited sums of money of your own that you can give or loan to your campaign. That's the reason why, through Citizens United, you can have the right to spend as much money as you want because that's speech. So, for example, Trump could spend $1 billion. He could spend every dime he owns on his own campaign, and that's perfectly legal. Other individuals are limited to $2,900 per election committee per candidate. Okay. Well, you get around that, though, by working with super PACs. Super PACs are independent groups that do expenditures on behalf of somebody. So they'll say you'll see these, different, any time you see a political action committee, they're going to have like Fight Back America or, do whatever. They don't ever include the person's name. And that's part of the reason why they have all these different names. Instead of Joe Biden for president, the campaign Joe Biden for president, Bob Boberson treasurer. That's a campaign that, they can only do so much. But Joe Biden might have super PACs set up, including, come on, man. And that could be the super PAC name, and they're going to run hit pieces on the other guy. So that's how the super PAC is differentiated from the actual campaign, if you weren't really sure. They go on and point out again that the Company One was not a social welfare organization. Okay. So what did they do? Well, Company One sent out, prospective contributors via email, text, and cell phone calls. Okay, well, you know what that does when you commit fraud using emails, text messages, and telephone calls? You commit wire fraud. So that's why he's been charged with wire fraud. Remember, if you commit fraud and you use electronic means, the wires to do it, it's wire fraud. If you use mail to do it, it's mail fraud. And they go on to talk about providing all the false information to prospective contributors. Okay. They also claim that apparently at Santos's direction, he falsely advised, person one falsely advised the contributors that company one was a social welfare organization, or it was also a PAC. It doesn't sound like he did at the same time, or the people that were contributing didn't understand that you can't be both. Really, that doesn't work that way. It just keeps going. They keep on showing that it was, they sent these messages and they falsely represented things. They spent on television advertisements purchased by company one in support of his candidacy. Okay, well, once again, you are committing wire fraud. All right. Apparently, he sent a text message to somebody that it was a small C4 that existed just to help his race, and there were no limits with respect to contributions. Once again, turns out it looks like that was a lie. And I'm sure we can go look those up to see that there wasn't a LLC set up that way. It wasn't set up as a super PAC. It wasn't set up as a tax-exempt organization. You can't just call yourself that. And if you guys weren't aware of that, please do not do that in real life. If you want to set up a 501c whatever, you have to set it up and get approval from the IRS to be tax exempt. You just can't say you're tax exempt and then look at the rules and follow them. You have to be given the dispensation or you don't actually have it. So you might comply with all the rules, but if you were never declared tax exempt, it doesn't work that way. So don't do what Santos did here. Don't do that. They talk about everything he did here, and it's just a lot of fraudulent things with these two companies, with the organization he set up, and then that. And then it also turns out that he also appears to have fraudulently sought COVID benefits. The CARES Act allowed additional unemployment. Okay, well, a lot of people did apply for unemployment, and they got CARES Act money. It appears that he went through the New York State Department of Labor, and he claims he was unemployed beginning in March. Okay. And then from June 2020 to April 2021, he continued claiming eligibility for unemployment benefits, that he was unemployed but available to take on work. All right, well, that's where it becomes he's part of the regional director and investment firm number one. So that becomes an issue. Now, it's funny with George Santos because he said he was involved with all these different organizations. I think he said he claimed he worked for Goldman Sachs. Never worked for Goldman Sachs. That he had gone to certain business schools. Never went to those schools. So is he really an employee of this place, or did he just lie about it? And then they think he's lying, so they hit him up. Or do they have proof he actually worked at this company? So once again, they will, if they are interested, they will dig through your past to find things. And it doesn't seem like Santos did a good job at covering his tracks. Remember, if you're going to break the law, cover your tracks. At least make it hard for them. Don't do what he does, where it's just like all out in the open. There's a reason why the rest of Congress doesn't get busted for this stuff, because they don't do it out in the open. For you guys, Pike says Dinesh D'Souza knows all about that campaign limit crap. Yeah, he got boned a little bit there, to be fair. Jim, he's saying he should have called it the friend of friends. Chaucerian Fraud says, I only commit wireless fraud. See, that's a galaxy brain thinking right there. Mr. K says, what about pigeons? Would a pigeon constitute wire fraud? I don't think so. It wouldn't constitute mail fraud. I mean, unless you're using a carrier pigeon, but it'd have to be like part of the post office. So I think that'd be the only way you get around it. Or you do it just like in Goodfellas, where somebody, you tell them something and they run across the street and tell the other guy. Job well done says, what if I use two cans and a string? Well, I mean, technically there's a wire between them. So I bet the feds would consider that wire fraud. Yes, Chaucer says commit bird fraud like bird law. Ag says, well, Santos is fucked. Yeah, I mean, remember, these are just allegations. It just doesn't look very good for him. Two Scoops of Destroyer says you need papal blessing from the IRS. Yes, you need to before you start. I mean, you could set it up and get their blessing, but until they say you are tax exempt, you're not tax exempt. So even if you just on your own follow all the rules and then say, well, we're not paying taxes, does not work that way. Do not do that. Oh, fuck says, I'm going to do it. And Harbor Warble says, I identify as tax exempt. Yeah. Bifron says, what if you just rip people off in person? Is that just plain fraud? Yes. But that also be campaign finance violation. So you're still got federal problems. Revin says, hello. Hi to me and hi to chat. Yes, pie case, make them work for it. You have to. Yes. Charlie 18 says never talk on the phone. Harbor Warble says ham radio. I think ham radio probably would. I'm betting there's probably information out there where that counts as some sort of wire fraud. Even like we using walkie-talkies. Although that's just such a boomer way to commit. You have to go get your, I commit for, you know what? We should commit the fraud. But first, we got to go get our ham radio license. You're just a technician, bro. Holmes, I became an unlimited. Harbor Warble says Joe Dolio may be the man to ask. Yeah, no, Joe, Tactical Wisdom is a very knowledgeable man. Very knowledgeable. So let's just finish this up because it does show what he did here. So that's why they brought up why he was working. Because initially, why he's working is a big deal. Okay, well, here we go. Because he was working and claiming unemployment benefits, which, I mean, this is why you don't do it, because you get to be big enough, they will come after you. It appears that he did this for $25,000 in unemployment. That's such a horrible amount of money to get federally indicted over. 25 G's, not 25 million, not 250,000, just 25,000. Like, bro. I do like this part, though. The benefits received were fully funded by the United States and a department and agency thereof, the United States Department of the Treasury. Yes, they literally went click, 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 and added zeros. They went like this. That's what they did. They added zeros. I mean, let's not get too serious about what that was there, U.S. attorneys. Now, this part here, false statements and house disclosure reports. This is where they get them for making the false statements to and lying to the House of Representatives. I have a problem with this one. Because I'm thinking, and this is where we're all going to make the joke, they all lie and they're all crooks and cheats. But I guarantee you, people have made materially false statements on those forums before. Maybe they get an ethics committee violation, or maybe they'd get admonished. But they charged him for that. I don't know if this is an actual... I don't know if this is going to stick. This one here is a little... trying to think. I don't think this is the way it's meant to be. Because if it was, oh my God, we'd have 1 million of these guys in jail. Lying to the House of Representatives, like, whoo, Lord child, like, that's not good. That is not good. If we're gonna play this game here, and I forgot to blow this up for you guys. So he had multiple disclosures he had to before the general elections and then afterwards. In each of those disclosures, he was required to make a full and complete statement. His assets, the source type and amount and value of income, other than current employment by the U.S. government, the source date and amount of honoraria from any source received, and from the year of filing in the preceding calendar year. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward what he's asked to do. he was asked to certify the disclosures were true, complete, and correct to the best of his knowledge and belief. Did they, the instruction guide for financial disclosure statements published by the House of Representatives Committee on Ethics provided there were civil and criminal penalties for knowingly willfully falsifying a financial disclosure document and cited to 18 U.S.C. 1001. Okay. I can only imagine, though, how many times anybody else ever gotten this? I can't imagine it. Really. That's the problem I have here with that one. But, So, he did these disclosures on an online system. Okay. And they talked further about what he did and he didn't certify. So his income, he talks about, totaling $55,000, which is clearly not what he's alleged to have made, which is the $120,000 plus the other 25. He's lying about a lot of stuff here. He also was not truthful about what he received from company 2, and he only received $27,000. Okay, well, he's lying about where he's receiving his income from. Afterwards, in September, he said that, during the reporting period, his earned income consisted of $750,000 in salary from the Devolder organization. His unearned income included dividends from the organization, which were between $1,000 and $5 million, or $1 million and $5 million. Like, what kind of dividend? Like, how much money was sloshing around in this guy's LLC he had running? Like I said, this guy is running it, and it sounds like what you do if you had no idea on how to be a scumbag crook. I guess nobody took him under his wing ahead of time and advised him, because it sounds like he needed to. Sounds like he had no compensation exceeding $5,000. That he owned a checking account with deposits between $100,000 and $250,000. And then he owned a savings account with deposits between $1 million and $5 million. Okay. You talk about all of that. He doesn't properly do all this. He doesn't explain what he has. He only received $28,000 from investment firm 1 and $20,000 in unemployment insurance, and he never talked about that. Okay, well, when they talk about counts 1 through 5 or wire fraud, okay, well, when they talk about here's the counts of the wire fraud, each time he committed a wire fraud, he used an email, he used a text message, okay, text message. All right, well, there's his wire fraud. That's how he committed it, through the wires. Count 6 through 8 were unlawful monetary transactions over $10,000. All right, well, that becomes an issue where he fraudulently transfers, and they're claiming this, of $25,000 from contributor number 2 to company 1 to his own bank account. Remember, when he said he took his money and gave it to himself, you cannot do that. You really can't do that. So if any of you ever run for office, do not do that. Really, do not do that. Like, niet, nine, ne pas. No. For, French, no. He did it again. He transferred $25,000 from another contributor to his bank account. All right. He transferred another $24,000 to his bank account. I mean, this is bad. He stole public money. And that's the money he stole through the unemployment insurance. And then the wire fraud is for, the fraudulent receipt of the unemployment benefits that he lied. And because the Treasury Department gave the money to the Department of Labor in New York State to spend, that's probably how they're getting that. So yes, with the wire fraud here, bam. He used the wires, through interstate wires to pass to him. They used interstate wires from the Department of Labor to his bank account, passing through one or more computer servers in New York. Count 12, the false statements on his disclosure reports. Back in 2020, He lied about everything he had going on there. Okay. Count 13, the same thing. This time around for 2022. All right. And then there's criminal forfeiture allegations, but hey, screw the feds and their forfeiture allegations. No, we're not saving changes. Dylan, 98 for €5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Saying off topic, but do your Republican? Okay, hold on. I gotta off topic. Do the Republicans ever? Do you remember the Republicans ever passing something similar to 94 California Proposition 187, where illegals were barred from state services? Yes. I mean that was yes, but getting them denied from state services, you run into issues in Supreme Court. That becomes an issue. I mean, even Plyer v. Doe, getting kids into schools, illegal immigrants and their children having the right to schooling. So that's not something you can. That is kind of what happens. There's nothing you can really do about that anymore. They're entitled to it. They get those. They're going to get their benefits. You can't stop it. I wish you could, but you can't. Mr. Anti-Commie says, so do I think Santos is toast? Yeah, that doesn't look good for him, but he could. I mean, remember, he is innocent until proven guilty. Those are just allegations written on a piece of paper. Remember, at the end of the day, an indictment is just letters on a paper. I mean, you can write stuff on a paper. It's just letters. So what does that mean? We'll see. Ingress has put 1 million Congress critters in jail. Your terms are acceptable. Yes. Barton Bella says, hello, handsome. Well, thank you. Dee Dee says I would buy a cash business like a car wash or a laundromat. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you're trying to really launder money. Garrett Pace says phase 2. Chaucerian Fraud says this is all chump change. It is. It is chump change. We're not dealing with Dianne Feinstein amounts of money or Jim Jordan or insert, whatever senator who's got a lot of power and money. We're not dealing with that. But remember, it doesn't take much. It takes a penny. You steal a penny. That's what happens. And here's what happens. This guy is unpopular. No one likes him. He has no support in his own party. He's a fucking weirdo. He's a bit of a creep. I mean, he's out there on his own. That is the worst position to be in, and that's what happens when you're out on your own like this. A-Dub says Santos wanted to be cool and ditch orientation that week. This is what happens. Yes. Dee Dee says if you want to be a crook, you have to be a Democrat. No, if you want to be a crook in Washington, you just have to play the game and be a good little boy. And stand up there and make noise and bang on the drum. Just to make noise and bang on the drum. Just like AOC does. She came in there, I'm going to rebel. And now she's housebroken and does what Nancy wants. So. Amateur Iconoclast says, but how can you commit what? Hold on. It's just. Oh. Gotta clear out the bong here saying, but man, how can you commit wire fraud when the internet uses tubes? A series of tubes. Very good question. Very good question. Garrett Pace says Maxine Waters been doing this shit for a decade. Oh, God, a lot of them been doing this. A lot of them. It's just George Santos wasn't doing a very good job at hiding it. But he's a bit of an idiot. The Real Hydro PX, $5. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. I'm not a lawyer, but is it defamation per se calling someone a child molester? Har, har, har. I read all super chats, so do so at your own risk. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You need to check your state laws. Dylan saying you're hungover at the moment. My spelling isn't great. No, it took. Sorry, no worries. Took me a second to get what you're saying, brother. It all works out. Jim, yes, this is something we're going to get to. The feds place an informant. Well, the feds didn't place an informant. Someone volunteered to work with the feds on his staff. And how do we know that? Because in response to Santos getting indicted, we have this right here. Derek Myers. And who's Derek Myers? He is a journalist. He's a Kentucky colonel. He's a 1A and FOIA nerd. Retweets do not reflect whatever, blah, 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 blah. Oh, he's followed by Robert Gouveia. I can publicly confirm that during my brief time in the congressman's office, I had secretly met with agents from the FBI in an effort to work as a confidential informant and human asset against a congressman during my course of employment in his office. I cannot go into any further details at this time. I get if the situation may dictate you have to work with the police. Sometimes you do what you got to do. Or you volunteer to work with the police because something really bad's happening. Okay, maybe. But to go on Twitter and like scream it from the rooftops, like, look at me, I did a good thing. Like, you know, it's one thing to say you did what you had to do, but to go out there and be like, I had fun going like being a little cheese eating rat. Like, bro. And it sounds like he went out and sought the help of the federales. Like, this is around forever now. You are proud to be a rat. I wouldn't tell you what I fucking ate for dinner at this point. Not in a million years. Rat boy. Come on now. Come on, rat boy. Come on. Ooh, we just had a spill. Patty's saying Santos was not part of the swamp. I like him. Oh no, he wasn't part of the swamp, but he's not somebody I think is good either. He's a bad person. So he's not part of the swamp, but he's not a good guy. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Chaucer's right. He just did it dumb. Yes. Okay. Unhung Hero for $2. Thank you, by the way, for Super Chat. I'm going to come. Don't come. Yes, snitch. Yes. Yes, you understand why rats get stabbed? Yep, his career gets over. Yep. Right, Mr. K? Dr. Mimo is correct. If you're a fucking snitch, just say that. Yeah. Yep. Toothless 420. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Of all the things you can be, don't be grass, guys. Don't be super grass. Pixie 78 for $2.99 in Australian dollary dues. saying Aussie dollars so I can hear you say dollary dues. I'll do it ASMR style. Rub it against my beard first. Dollary dues. Dollary dues. Dollary dues. President-elect 4 doors, more horse for $1.99. Thank you. By the way, he says, never discuss cheese with the rats. Yes. Bifron says, Sean's rat impression is great. Yeah. Thank you. Demon's Rat says, what did you eat for dinner, Sean? I had chicken tendies, actually. I got a new air fryer, the Ninja Foodle. It's I don't know what I don't know what it is. It's really freaking cool. It's a really good like air fryer oven thing. It's pretty dope. So we're gonna finish up here. That was just a big thing to go through there. Mr. Anti-Com, he says, Sean, your ASMR almost sent your mind into labor. Jonathan saying, such value. Wow. Brooks, stop. You gotta spell stop with an A and H in it. Stop. Please stop. Dr. Mimo says, do not come. Well, you got to tell yourself that. Now look at the mic. Hold on. Javi T for $2. Thank you. Appreciate it, Javi. Harris Riley says, if I talked, I would tell no one. Yeah, that's the other way around it if you can avoid it. Dee says, Sean is Pepe. Yes. 7-Eleven says, rats love cheese pizza. Yes, they do. Fair Frozen says, did I miss that? Oh, I missed one. Shoot. Let's go back. Thanks for catching that one, Parallax. Fair Frozen 55 for $5. Thank you. Says the Rock Island M1911 on Palmetto for $4.30. Tempting getting Mr. Two World Wars. Friend says not to put money on it past purchase. Any other one worth upgrading. Well, I know Rock Island does like their tactical series where you've got like an ambi safety and decent sights on it. It might be a little bit more, but I would not just, if you want a World War II setup 1911 with like shitty sights and crappy safety on it, sure, go for it. But if you can, I mean, heck. State Armory. What do they got? So, a 1911s. Yeah, they have it for $349 a GI standard. I would not do that. That's, I mean, that doesn't. You're going to spend the time. I mean, if you want to buy it and then play with it and learn how to do gunsmith on it, sure, fine. Or if you want to keep it as is, fine. But you're going to spend a lot of money trying to gunsmith it when you're better off just buying one that's going to be upgraded. I would just spend your money that way. So. A name of some sort saying it's worth upgrading. Yeah, but it's a 1911 requires a little more work than like a Glock to upgrade. Like you need to learn to pee in a front sight. You know, working in a safety does require a little bit of work because when you buy an ambi safety, it does require a little bit of hand fitting. 1911 parts require that. Spend a little bit more money and get the Rock Island that's upgraded. Because the Rock Island that's upgraded is the best 1911 world. No, it's not a Les Bear. It's not a Nighthawk custom. It's not a Wilson Tactical or a Wilson Combat. It's not an Ed Brown. Will it work? Yes. Will you probably be ever able to outshoot it? Maybe at some point. Will you ever wear it out? Probably not. So I think just upgrade, try to find a Rock Island tactical model. You'll save yourself some time and screwing around with it. At least that's how I look at it. Isaac Baruch saying, what if I make a 1911 on duct tape and toilet paper rolls? That would be pretty neat looking. Stephen Cooper says, how do you peen? You peen it. Peen. You take a piece of metal and you flatten it and mushroom it out to make a mechanical bond and grip. So, yes, Darcy's right. Twitter has a new CEO. Yes. All right. So we spent a lot of time talking about poor George or Jorge or whatever you want to call him. So, yes, Zero Fox, mushroom peen. You got it. Exactly. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. You guys. Some days. Okay. So we are going to be moving on to the Subway Snuggler. For the guys who don't remember, last week, Jordan Neely, a homeless man who was acting like a spaz apparently on the train, ended up getting put into a hold from behind by a gentleman known as Daniel Penny, who basically held him down. Now, this idea was a chokehold. Nah, I don't think so, because it wasn't like a rear naked. He was trying to put in a rear naked choke. Okay. But you can see throughout the video, the guy's moving and he's getting in and out of it. It's not put in properly. Maybe it wasn't intended to be that way. Maybe it was just meant to just hold him in that area. Either way, eventually Jordan Neely dies. But based upon the interview given by one of the persons in the car, who was the journalist who only spoke Spanish, it sounds like everybody was getting scared of him. He was screaming and demanding things, took off his jacket like he was gonna, it was gonna go down. Well, not only did the Daniel Penny jump up, but two other guys helped him. And at one point, one of the guys puts Jordan Neely's arm in a Kimura. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's one of the jiu-jitsu holds, submission holds, like a Kimura. Like, it's really cool. These guys work him over pretty bad. But notice it's only one guy is getting charged. Now, remember, this is also the same office that when we had the bodega stabbing, and Jose Alba stabbed up that guy who came into his part of the store and tried to rob him and hurt him. And then Jose grabbed that big old knife, and just boom, 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 right into that guy's abdomen and torso and killed him while he's getting stabbed by his girlfriend. He spent 10 days in Rikers Island. So the idea they're going to charge somebody initially, remember, that might change. It's not uncommon. Now, do I think they're eventually going to go for broke and try him? Oh, certainly. That's what's going to happen. Although Broadway and Lafayette Street, I'm going to have to go to that station when I go to New York the next time. So the New York DA's office is going to go after him. Yes, according to witnesses, and this whole thing about he's known to impersonate Michael Jackson, that was like 10 years ago. He hasn't done that in the meantime. There's just videos of him taking shits in the subway and like his dong's all flippy flopping around while he's doing it. That's pretty much all he's done lately. He's going to be charged with manslaughter in second degree. They can't provide any information until he's been arraigned in Manhattan Criminal Court, which will take place tomorrow. Said Alvin Bragg. Yes, that same Alvin Bragg, who's like, I don't have to tell you how I'm charging you. Oh. It's like Alvin Bragg can be Barney. He's like, the state can hide the evidence. So we shall see. So this part here, I never understood why his legal team expressed condolences to the dead guy. It's like, no, you don't say anything. You make no admissions of nothing. You're just, remember, lips like a statue. Beep. That goes for me. If you came to me and said, hey, I just snuffed out some guy on the subway, I ain't making no public statements either. Just you're innocent until proven guilty, and that's it. You remain an innocent man. I ain't going out there talking like, we're so sorry something happened. It's like, no, you did what you had to do, Holmes. Daniel never intended to harm him. You can't say this stuff. Don't say this stuff. Do not. Stephen Reiser and Thomas Kenneth, bros. Brah. Come on now. So, I do love this part, though, for reading this earlier. The Neely's, Jordan Neely's family has an attorney who says, based on his actions and the words he said so far, show that he needs to be in prison. I'm sure if he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry, yes, I'm a horrible person, this attorney would still say he needs to go to prison. So that's a little bit of a disingenuous comment. But he is going to be charged, and I'm sure that would be cool if that's televised, because that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, you're going to have a whole train car of people who are fucking scared. And he probably will walk. So, Fair Frozen 55 for $5. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the support. Says, for 1911, is it worth hunting one for double stack? My M17 has 17 plus 1, with the 9mm. Bit scared by 8 plus 1, even if that's all you need. You get yourself that 45, because by God, they don't make that 46. Made by John Moses Browning himself. Memes. Yeah, if you want a double stack 45, buy a Glock 21. That's what you buy. Yes, you could buy a para ordnance, and there's some other companies that make double stack 1911s. Just stick with a 1911. You get a 1911, run some Chip McCormick mags, get yourself 10 rounds, put one in the pipe, you got 11. Okay, but really, if you want a double stack 1911, Glock. Maybe a USP in 45. You can run one of those. Run a HK 45. Run an FN in 45. Run a plastic pistol in 45. That will do you. You will get far more mileage out of that. It'll be a lot cheaper too. I mean, heck, buy a Gen 3 Glock 21. It's been run hard, dude. You can beat on those. I know a guy who had one. He buried it in the ground for a year. We pulled it out, replaced the spring that had rusted away. He had shot at it with a 22, hit the slide a couple of times, and brought it right out of the ground. He came to the range with it. We put like 500 rounds through without lubing it up. No lube, no lube, just no lube, just like we made it take it. Made that Glock just take it. But yeah, don't make a double stack your first 1911. Like, get into 1911s, figure them out, and then go spend money on that kind of stuff. But really, if you're going to go spend that money, Glock 21 does all that fun stuff. So, Alpha Fox saying Crump's team. Yeah, I don't know if, you know what? I think Crump is involved in this. Yeah. Remember, that was depressing learning about all the stuff Crump's got his fingers in. So. Amateur iconoclast says a whole train full of people are about to get visits from Antifa. Yeah, probably. I'm betting a lot of people just bolted, and I wouldn't blame you if you were involved in something like that and you saw it go down, or you saw some white guy kill another guy, or be even around or remotely responsible for possibly causing another person's death that is a minority. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you're like, I'm just getting out of here. I don't want anybody to know my name and piecing out. I'd hope you stick around and provide and be a good witness, but I wouldn't blame if you said, I don't need this, and just disappeared. Salty Ball saying it's been a shit week. Thanks for replying my email. Get back. Send me one back. Let me know if that's any of that was helpful at all. Or if you have any other questions. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully, give you something to take your mind off it. Mike L says, "Love my P220. M&P 2.0s are great. Yeah, I mean that works." Stephen Cooper says, "What about the Mark 23?" It's like, yes. Why aren't we talking about things like yes? I mean, because I just like everybody else have just oodles of money to spend on the Mark 23. That would be so cool to have, but no, doesn't work. Patty's saying USB tactical and 45. Yeah. Jim is saying the FNX 45 is way better than the Glock. It might be, but a Glock 21 is a great starting point. It's cheap. That's the main reason why. HK USB could shoot 45 Super in it, but I don't know. Thoughts on Walther? I mean, Walther makes good stuff. The P99 is really good. I've shot those. They're fun. This is who we are. So the Mark 23 is nice. Yeah, but it's cheaper to buy a USP Tactical in 45. You get the same gun, but a lot cheaper. Yes, the Mark 23 is $2,700. Yes, and for $2,700, you're almost all the way to buying a PVS 14. So I don't know why. I'd probably do that instead. Garrett Pace's tears are the best lube. University Pigeon says that's how real men take dumps. What? But just going to. Yes. Let's see here. Jacob Pete's. You love them too. What do you guys love? I don't know what you guys love. Okay. Samuel Williams, the founding father, for $4.99. Thank you very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Says Walther, it's the best. Is the best. It's the gun that took out Hitler. Yes. Yes. The brave hero that killed Hitler used a Walther in 32 Browning. Panzer Dude says, yes, I'm looking very muted today. Yes, I'm very subdued. You talk about a puckle gun. Jesus. We're not doing a puckle gun. HK rolls. Okay, we're gonna skip Mauser. Yeah, buy a Mauser 1914 pistol. Yeah. Hartman for $20. Or Hartman, sorry. Hartman for $20. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Says buy an Ender 3 S1 and learn to 3D print your own guns. Fun, community, and hobby. Yes, very true. Always innovating, getting better all the time. Very, very, very true. The 3D printed sphere is getting really good. If you guys are on Discord, Stabby, if you guys come over to the Discord, Stabby's over there making all kinds of frames. It's actually pretty impressive what can be done now. In fact, if you guys don't remember from a while back, he did send, in addition to that, he did send, and this is, the quality of 3D printing today is that, and you can they're getting pretty good. They are getting pretty good. So, yes, 3D printing is all the rage. It's what all the cool kids do. So, but Sean Hitler escaped to Argentina? Well, maybe. Maybe. I'm just saying. Yeah, Chaucer, you're right. It wasn't clearly a chokehold. Yeah. Yes, but he was trying. Ken Lepek is saying, have you heard about the guy in Cleveland who claimed to be a CI and beat and stuffed a woman in a tote? No. All right, I'll look for that one. That'll be interesting. My Dumb Movies, is that for sitting on naked? I mean, why not? I mean, how'd you know? So, okay, Fair Frozen for 55 for $5 again. Thank you. Says, I do have a 3D printer. I can't. PR is cucked on self-made guns. I can't even buy cartridges I don't own guns for. Oh, yeah. Well, if you're in Puerto Rico, yeah. You're only going to buy 9mm and 223. Woof. I thought Puerto Rico had pretty decent gun laws. I mean, there's also just, if you make them, I mean, somebody might not know. Or if you want to be a test case, you can try that. But yeah, I could see that being an issue. Zentz is saying, what's up, Sean? I'm suing the Washtenaw. That's up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, if you guys aren't aware. Washtenaw County Public Defender's Office of filing grievance with the Michigan Commission for No Representation. Hope you're better than 90% of the PDs out there. I try to be. I try to do. I always try to have people tell me, no matter what I do, well, you're the first attorney to ever do that for me, or you're the, I always strive for that. So, yes, thank you. I do. Although, there's times I still feel like I fuck up. I'll tell you that. There's times, I wish I was good as a lot of you guys think I am. I'll just put it like that. So, Isaac Baruch's wholesome gabagool art for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for support. I have to buy and keep one Keltec meme gun. Which one is it and why? Love you, Sean. If I'm doing a meme gun, I mean, well, aren't all Keltec's meme guns really? I have to buy and keep it. I'll do an RDB in 308. That just looks fun. Although if you make me picking like a meme gun, I'll do the PMR in 22. In 22. That sounds like fun. It's like a poor man's FN57. So. Blur says, never thought you were good, Sean, not once. See, and that's the way you do it, because then you're never disappointed. You can only be either having confirmed your thoughts, or you might be pleasantly surprised. That's how you have to look at it. With that being said, though, guys, I do want to take a second to say we do have a new sponsor. Well, not a sponsor, but it's kind of a sponsor for the show. And it is the Idaho Game Guild. If you guys, it is a full, I call it full service. They have quite a bit there. They are a sponsor of the show, a friend of the show, the Idaho Game Guild. They have it's in the Blackfoot Mountains out in Idaho. So if you're out there, that's great. If you're not, well, can't go to any of the live events they do, but they have all kinds of things there. They do Warhammer, they do Citadel paints, they do all kinds of stuff out there. Magic the Gathering. If you like those cards, you like Pokemon. They have all kinds of stuff. They have board games, hobby supplies, quite a bit out there. If you guys go through me, he will hook you up. He does have some good prices on everything that's out there. A lot of stuff is going on. So if you guys are looking for stuff that's out there and you guys want to help out a company run by a guy who is a good dude. If you guys don't know, I guess I'll plug it this way. If you guys know Future Conflicts Watcher, this is actually his business. So if you guys want to help support somebody who does some pretty good stuff out here on YouTube, this would be a great person to support. And not supporting some woke douchebag while you're at it. So But yeah, got all kinds of fun stuff there. And yeah, highly recommend them. So that is the IdahoGameGuild.com. Petty says the new sponsors establish titles. Yeah. You're hoping it was gold. Yeah. Yes. Well, I only want gold that's been marinating in a Swiss lake for 80 years. That's the only gold I want. Yes, Porcelain Thunder says Idaho, no Idaho. Probably Biden. Garrett Pace says that's not far away from me. Well, you should check him out. It's a good store. I was talking to him. He showed me kind of around on online. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty neat. Not supporting woke douchebags, but buying Citadel paint out. Well, hey, it's something he sells, but he also has other paints. But some people like it. Patty Leather says a new sponsor established titles. Yeah. Hey, if they came to me with it, I'd buy it. I'd see if you guys can all be a laird or a lady. Even though you can't become a lord because you're not you haven't been awarded that yet. But hey, if you want to believe it, sure. So. Did I see the ATF is going out after the FRT triggers? Yeah. Yes. Yep, they do. Zen says it's a flat out scam, just plant a tree. I know. I've done that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with just going and plant out a tree on your own. So, where are we? I don't know if we've gotten really that far yet. Yeah, so we've got the, we're done with that. Where are we at now? We got done with Stingy Boy. So we get on to the next thing. And while we're talking about Ag Biochem, say Pokemon has become a thing again. I mean, it's always been a thing. So Donald Trump was on trial for apparently, according to E. Jean Carroll, that he raped her. Then he had apparently raped her, even though apparently she thinks rape is sexy and that women like it, and that she somehow liked being raped. Or she talked about that with Anderson Cooper and wouldn't just shut up. She had apparently accused her husband of raping her at some point, and is just generally a flat out lunatic. Well, she went to trial and she sued him because she claims Trump did this. She also claimed he defamed her by saying she's a liar, and also claimed that he committed sexual battery against her. Well, it went to trial. Trump did not show up. I think that probably hurt him ultimately. He only testified through a video deposition, which is kind of hilarious. He's in there acting like a bit of an asshole. But a jury of 6 men and 3 women did find Trump not liable. Remember, not guilty is not what exists. They did not find him liable for committing rape, but they did find him liable for committing sexual battery and then liable for calling E. Jean Carroll a liar. Well, I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And yes, that verdict sounds horribly inconsistent. We think, oh, can you appeal that? I've tried to appeal criminal cases where it's clear the jury made a verdict that made absolutely no sense. A court is generally going to not overturn those and not disturb those. The jurors are allowed to make a verdict however they want. If it's stupid and makes no sense, as long as it's within the bounds of the law, it's probably going to get upheld. So they awarded him $5 million in damages. Trump will do everything he can to avoid paying it. I don't blame him. But also at the end of the day, the funny part is even $5 million, Trump can pretty much go like this and go. He can do that and go like this and go, here you go, whore, and walk away. Now, that is a Chad move, and I wish I could afford to do that. But I can't. Oh, hold on. That didn't get me right. Unlike Trump, I can't do this. Here you go, ho. And walk away. I wish I could. I can't. But Trump can do that. So, whatever. I think it'll work out for him. And our lawyers get 30%. So, there you go. So, have fun with that. We did hear that through E. Jean Carroll that her defense was bankrolled by Democratic Party donors. That was the quiet part. It was said out loud during the CNN interview. And that they also had personally helped try to campaign to change the statute of limitations. So basically, it would benefit them, and then it would revert back to afterwards. So, yeah. So that's what happened there. I mean, look at this lady, like, oofta. Yeah, that's a real. She's been vindicated. I've been vindicated. Yeah, I'm sure you have. Vindicated that you're just horrid. This occurred nearly 30 years ago in a dressing room of the Bergdorf Goodman department store in Manhattan. Okay, well, whatever the hell that place is. But 30 years ago, 30. It's like, yeah. He called her case a complete con job, and that's what they're going after. A hoax and a lie. Well, no lies were detected. At least by me. Trump's attorneys called no witnesses, and he never appeared at the trial. Okay, well, they don't have to call witnesses, and you don't always need witnesses, but also, who are they going to call? A bunch of people that said, yeah, I believe Trump, it never happened, because they're arguing an event that never, these women are, E.G. Carroll's lying about shit. It's going to be, unless you can disprove it, there's not really anybody you could call. So I know a lot of people got mad that Trump didn't call anybody, but who are you going to call? The invisible ghost who doesn't tell a lie? I mean, you could try. I don't think the court's going to let you do that. She said, I filed this lawsuit to clear my name and get my life back. Yeah, I don't think, nobody really gave a shit who you were, lady. I mean, let's be honest. The world finally knows the truth. No, I still just think you're a lunatic. So, this victory is not just for you, but every woman who has suffered because she was not believed. Well, a lot of women weren't believed. That doesn't mean... Because some of them might be lying and not telling the truth. So this is for all the liars out there too. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh. They also basically sandbagged Trump by playing the grab her by a pussy video that was done by Billy Bush and all those guys back before the election. They should let you grab by the pussy. Well, they do. If you have that kind of money. So, yeah. Patty says a pay and go ho. Yes. Dr. Mimo says the judge was the officiant at Carol's wedding. Yeah, I've heard that too. Jim is saying they have a problem because the judge and the host lawyer are friends and they didn't disclose the conflict. Yeah, and I hope there's things that do overturn it, but remember, you can't count on that. There's so many times, even I've had cases where I'm like, oh my God, they have to overturn this. And nothing happens. So you should just assume this is the result. And then if it gets turned around, great, we've got a neat surprise. But in the meantime, just assume this is it. Dunsky. I don't want you guys like accidentally, playing with that copium out there. All right, that hopium. Don't be doing it. Chaucer is saying, yes, they changed the limitations for 1 year, so it goes from 7 years to infinite, then back to 7. Yep. Basically, this is an ex post facto law, but it's not, you can't prove it. Can't prove it. So, yep. Trump has an email from her friend that showed she was lying that was not allowed. And yeah, there were some evidentiary things here that Um, I don't know the full things there, but it sounds like the judge was kind of being an asshole and causing problems. So I don't know the full reasons why, but yes, I assume that there were some improper evidentiary rulings going on. Let's go. Brandon says, no need to get all ageist on us. You would blow her back out. Yeah, I probably would, just because every time she'd go to speak, I'd stand up in the crowd and be like, hey, remember that time I took, we canoodled, and I would just use that and run her off stage every time. Sure. Although they show the picture of her way back in the day before she looks like her face kind of got burned, like she was trying to LARP as Mason Verger. Back in the day, E. Jean Carroll was a good looking woman. Kind of like Nancy Pelosi. Back in the day, like when there's a picture of her hanging out with Kennedy. Just saying. Just saying. Tarkina saying 30-ish years. She didn't exactly remember when it just happened. Yeah. That's once again there are these problems, but there's so many problems with it. But this was all just an attack to screw up Trump's reelection. That's all it was. Sen says the ghost who never lies named Peter in court. It can't be trusted. Well, he was telling the truth. I mean, that's the risk you take when you bring in the ghost who never lies. He might tell the truth, and it might hurt you. Harbor Warble says this will only embolden further accusations leading up to 2024. They didn't really need more emboldening. They're just going to marry the Nazi rapist Cheeto Man. Hurrah! That's all they need. So don't worry. All the accusing hoes are standing back and standing by, ready to go. Yeah, I'm gonna skip all that drama stuff there. I'm just I kind of don't have an idea what half you guys are talking about with some of this drama stuff. So somebody's gonna have to like fill me in like I'm 5 at some point else. Patty says Trump's type's an Eastern European supermodel in the early 30s. Yep. Melania's holding on. She's hanging in there though. I'll give her credit. Sean would smash a young Nancy. You would too. Hold on here. Yeah, like that's the thing. Everybody likes to make fun of Nancy Pelosi. Like, I'll give her credit. Back in the day, she was a good looking woman. I mean, really, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna tell me like, oh no, she's a horribly ugly woman. No, back in 1963 or 62 or 61, whenever this was taken, she was a very good looking woman. So don't lie. Why are you always lying? So, yes, Carrie is 100% right. She said rape is sexy. Women like rape. They like to be raped. She said they like the control. She said all that with Anderson Cooper. So, where am I looking here? Pike says, yeah, you'd hit her with a rock. Yeah. That's a shame. Says, what about contemporary Nancy with the knockers? I mean, those are hard to like ignore, but that's, I don't know. You got to deal with the rest of it. Hopefully you can shut her up. Let's go, Brandon. Thank you. Hey, man, good to see you. Says, I'll handle the besmirching for you. This judge was a cuck liberal with a bad case of TDS and likely is overcompensating for a small vagina, in my opinion. Thank you for besmirching him on my behalf. You guys are Jesus. All right, we're gonna be oh, what was the one I wanted to do? Oh, I remember this one. So, at the Kentucky Derby, there was, well, it's horse racing, the sport of kings. Oh my God, this was some nasty, nasty shit. In the middle of having your mint juleps, a fight broke out. Yeah, okay, yes, like 7 horses died. Yes, 100%, like 7 horses died. That was a horrible thing. And yes, very common. These horses do die. They do get put down. A couple years ago, there was, after the Preakness, one of the horses right there on the track, they popped the tent up around it, and they grabbed their horse gun, which is a silenced pistol, and they have a special horse dispatching weapon for that. Basically, it's a modern day well rod. B&T makes. It's a veterinary pistol. They put the horse down. So there's our wood chipper lube. Yeah, you can use wood chipper lube. Claude Asher says hamburgers on sale. You know what? Laugh all you want. If you guys have never had horse meat, I will tell you it is actually really good. Once you get over the fact you're eating a horse, it's not bad. It's really not that bad. And hold on one second. So, Harbor was saying, what? Yeah, no, a lot of horses died. A lot of horses died this weekend. So, yeah, horses died at the Kentucky Derby this year. Yes. You name your horse the Glue Factory. So, what happened? Well, in the midst of everybody being there, there was a fight. And, well, all I can say is, shit escalated very quickly. So, here we go. We're going to rewind it. So here we go. Here was the fighting. If you guys noticed, that guy basically lost an eye. Not like, oh, he's got a really bad cut. No, dude is missing an eye. And I think that was confirmed that yeah, he's missing an eye at the Kentucky Derby. Looks like he did. Whatever happened to him, it's not good. I don't think that's going to be very, very good. But whoever bet on Mage winning at 15-1 odds, well, somebody saved their kid's college fund from disappearing. If you're that type of degenerate gambler, you should probably stop while you're ahead, bro. But yes, the guy with the eye, I can only imagine that dude, his it's just bad. And it only gets better from here. Everybody wants to fight. Everybody got them mint juleps in them, and they get all antsy in their pantsies. But it keeps going, and it keeps going. Oh, honey, you don't start swinging like that. That's not going to end well for you. Yeah. No. I think it just loops again from here. Yeah. She's lucky she didn't get tuned up out of that, but yes. Be careful, and that brings up if you fight somebody, yeah, that's a serious bodily harm. So whoever did that could be looking at felony charges. I mean, imagine that you're going to the Kentucky Derby, you bet on a horse, your horse loses, you lose a lot of money. Then you go out and fight with a guy and you cause him to go blind in an eye. And now you have a felony charge. Like, is this worth it? That's why, really, I mean, if you're going to go, like, you're better off going home and kicking your dog and yelling at your wife. Be careful. If you're going to fight somebody, be prepared something like this happens. Or if you yourself decide to get into a fight, think, oh my God, somebody might tear my eye out or cause me to go blind. I mean, think about it. That guy got drunk and got into a fight over horse racing. And that's it. Grandpa, how'd you lose your eye? Well, Grandma had too many Jack and Cokes. It got mad when, his horse didn't make it in the final quarter. It's like, down the stretch they come, and your mom's high school college fund disappeared in a flash. Like, that's awful. Let's go. Brandon says, I was there. Nice. Hope you were the one kicking ass. Dracula says, delete the horses after. I don't know. I don't know if they eat those horses. Ag Biochemist for 199 says the Kentucky Derby is Amish drag racing. Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. If you ever get the chance to watch the ponies run somewhere, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Just do it once. Grab the program, pay a couple bucks for that, try to figure out how to rate the horses, and bet like $1 or $2. It's actually kind of fun. The only more thing that's a lot more fun than horse racing are greyhounds. It's actually kind of neat to watch them run because they run on such a little track and the race is over right away. But it's really neat. And every once in a while, the greyhound does catch the rabbit. And that's pretty neat to see as well. A name of some sources, I thought it was a bolt gun. So these in slaughterhouses. But yes, that is a way they can do it as well. Zero Fuck says Foch and Shank cried. Yeah. Peyton Huang says, yes, it's the B&T VP9. Thank you. The Brigitte Thompson, or however you say it, the Swiss people. Dracomus has never had horse meat. Try it if you ever get the chance. I highly recommend it. Alpha Fox says, heads or tails? This quarter's been traveling since 1958 all the way here. You have to call it. Don't put that in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter. How much... Patty Leto says, no, Western men do not eat horses or dogs. Sean, how could you? You could eat a horse. Come on. Horses have been eaten before. It's not bad. Darcy says broken legs on horses cannot be repaired. It's mainly just because the horses are very fragile, and you can't really cast them because they can't get on up and down. It just doesn't heal. You're right. Mr. Anti-Commie says Sean and Cheval, so Cheval burgers. Yes. What do you call a horse burger in France? Oh. Let's go. Brandon says, never knew you were Swedish. Stormcrow says, why did they die? I don't know if that's known yet. Could be getting overworked. It could be some medical issues. Horses are very fragile. They can get sick very quickly and die. They can get pneumonia. All kinds of crap can happen to them. They especially a horse like that that's going to be in like tip top shape. They can die very quickly. They could have tripped. I mean, any number of things. But they get those horses are going to get autopsied. So eventually, it probably will come out what happened, but we won't know right away. Mr. Case's horse glue is real shitty. Yeah. Mr. Case saying, "Oh yeah, dude lost his eye, right? It looks like he lost his eye. I mean, think about it. It's one thing if you get cut. You watch UFC fights, you get cut up here, you're bleeding everywhere, whatever. But you get, you like that whole eye is red. It's like Kill Bill. No, that dude is homie is done. Home slice is done. Yeah, you're not coming out of that one. You are not going to make it out of that one. So, GM says, talk about keeping an eye out. Mr. K says he still has the eye. It's punctured. Getting an eye punctured is just as bad because the ocular fluid in your eye, you can't afford to lose that. And it comes out, it's like vegetable oil. Like, either way, that guy is seriously fucked. He probably is going to have shitty vision in that eye going forward if they don't remove it. Salty Ball says, "Hey, bro, your eye's missing. Did you know that?" I'm sure he knows. Joshua Frost, yes, and he got sucker punched from the blind side. Yes, that is a little bit rough. Brooks Euchre says, "Who says white people can't be on World Star?" Yeah, it's very true. Very, very true. Fuck says he got no scoped. Oh my gosh, you guys, sometimes. Oh no. GM says they call that the Kentucky blinker right there. Yes. God, you guys are just like on fire tonight. It's hard to keep up with you guys. 100K Hitman says, when you think you could fight and get rocked by the obvious gym bro, maybe ex-military guy. Yeah. It's pretty bad. Andrew's son says there was a scandal in Australia where greyhound trainers put injured rabbits on the... Okay, so in greyhound racing, there's a rabbit that's basically like on a remote... It's basically like a remote control car that runs along the inside track on a rail, and it's called a rabbit. Now, is it actually a rabbit? Because, that's what they would chase traditionally. So it looks like a rabbit. Sometimes they have something that's basically like a remote control car with something sticking out of the track, and it's like a ball or something that they're trained to like zone in on and then chase. Okay, well, that's done as well. Apparently in Australia, they were putting injured rabbits on the actual rabbit, training the dog so they would chase the mechanical one harder in a race. Oh my God, that is a fucking metal way to make your horses like turn into psychopaths. Because greyhounds are like actually nice dogs, but they kill. Eric Fulham says, "Low Royale with cheese." Shade Chaser says maybe the horse has got the beer shot. Maybe. Just me for $9.99. Thank you very much for the super chat. Just saying, that's good advice on fighting. It's all fun and games, so you start gouging eyes out. Yeah. Start gouging eyes out, you really do gouge someone's eye out. Like, yeah, I'm curious to see how that happened. Sure, it would be rough to watch. Apparently, Hey Now says they had orthopedic injuries. Yeah, that's very common in a horse. Uh, yes, DD saying grouse is awesome. Yes, it is very good. Grouse is very good. Ag biochemist says, so that's how Crenshaw lost his eye. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. Jim is saying there used to be a great dog track in Bonita Springs. Yeah, in Florida, greyhound racing is illegal now. I think it's been banned. I know the Wheeling Island Casino in West Virginia does greyhound racing still. So, so Mr. K says, Australian here. You go yell at your, "Hey, Mr. Prime Minister," saying, yeah, some videos came out of dog trainers using dead rabbits. The government saw them and banned dog racing, leading to thousands of dogs being euthanized. Yeah, that's the problem with greyhounds. Greyhounds get rescued a lot because after a while, their use to many racers is limited. So they get dumped on the streets. There are greyhound rescue groups. They get injured. There's a lot of greyhounds that are rescued that are tripods, too. York Tarleton for $5 over on Rumble. Thank you so much. Saying, didn't mean to leave you guys over in the ghetto like that. Saying good evening, Sean. Great show. Still trying to get a hold of the new the governor of West Virginia, do an interview with you. Hey, that'd be fun if we can work that out. Nacho Kitty over on Rumble says a bad batch of steroids, maybe. Yeah, it could be. Michelle says, I'm trying to connect the dots here. How we go from a fist fight to 7 horses dying? Well, somebody brought it up that it happened at the Kentucky Derby. They ran the Kentucky Derby this past weekend, and 7 horses did die. Sporkio says Genghis Khan ate horses. Yes, he did. Probably. Winter Soldier says that fight was over. Who sang the best version of My Old Kentucky Home? The best. Yep, sure. That's exactly what they did. All right, so we're going to be moving on here. We're running out of time. Okay, so we'll get to this next thing quick. In Utah, a woman wrote a book. She lost her husband. And wrote a children's book about grief. She's been charged with murder. Corey Richards allegedly poisoned her husband by slipping fentanyl into a drink, which, yes, if you're not prepared for fentanyl, yeah, that can do it. So you need to register, keep reading. I'll do it later. Fuck you. So Corey gave her husband a lethal dose of fentanyl, apparently. He had 5 times the lethal dose in his body when he died in March of 2022. She was arrested at her home on counts of murder, and she faces life imprisonment or possibly the death penalty, which I'm pretty sure in Utah includes the firing squad. Records show that Eric had told his wife and had told his family and friends his wife was trying to poison him. Oof. So on Valentine's Day, before his death, he became violently ill after having dinner and breaking out in hives and having trouble breathing until he used his son's EpiPen. Well, yeah. And she's alleged to have bought $900 worth of fentanyl pills. That's a lot of fentanyl pills, really, for like a person who doesn't have experience doing fentanyl. It would buy another 900 more before this guy died. Whew. That's... yeah. Oh. But yeah, you see all kinds of stuff going on here. That she tried to change a life insurance policy he had with his business partner. She tried to remove the partner and make herself the husband's beneficiary. All those types of things you see in like a 2020 episode, this lady did. So, yeah, it's not looking good for her. But remember, we'll see. He removed his wife from his will. Ooh, probably removed her as executor. Yeah, that's going to be good. And there was a home that she wanted to buy that he didn't want to, so she ended up closing on the home the day after he died. It's like, the home he didn't want to buy, you went ahead and did this. Like, come on, girl, come on, you really can't just give it away. This is it's just, and even then, after that, they brought up the whole issue about the house. This year, she released a book called Are You With Me? It's a book description. It's written to create peace for children who've lost a loved one. Yeah, I think I might want to get this book so we can read it. Are You With Me? I forgot this. Are you? Maybe she'll want it. Yes, Barton Bella. Yes, I would use this as a tax write-off because it is for the show. Certainly. I definitely would do that. You have no idea. Okay, so moving on to the felonious fishermen. They were sentenced today, and I got to be there. I have a 30-minute recording of the sentencing, and it is a lot to go through, and I think I'll play it and do, maybe we'll do it tomorrow night. Do that as a live, and we'll kind of go through it. Stream. Hold on. Iconoclast, you're right. Yes, for $5. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat. Says, what an amateur, used fish tank cleaner and then blame Trump. Yes. Yes, that's how you do it. Or you get some old school antifreeze and you just kill them. That's the other way to do it. Nacho Kitty says, what time? I don't know yet. I'm going to have to think about that. But it'll probably be in the evening. Probably not till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Oh, Alpha Fox saying they pulled it? Are you kidding me? Are you with me? Children's book. Oh, come on. It's got to be there. Is it on Amazon? Oh, you're kidding me. You are kidding me. Page not found. They took it down. That is some bullshit. That is not cool at all. All right, whatever. In other news, real quick, sorry I forgot to mention, the judge in the Nicholas Cruz trial has retired, is resigned being a judge. I'm sure she's going on being OnlyFans. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact she was a hack and probably is facing some disciplinary issues. Who knows? But she's not a judge anymore. So, yeah, she can go on OnlyFans. But getting back to the fishermen, Jacob Runyon and Chase Kaminsky. I was there this morning at the courthouse in Cleveland, and it was interesting. There were about 15 reporters and press people in the room with me. There were about 25 or 30 people involved or hanging around. And yeah, it was very, very quick. It was only 30 minutes, but I think it's easier if we react to that at a different time. Let's see here. I'll share their picture just so we can see that. The guy on the left is Runyon. The guy on the right is Kaminsky. We learned through the walleye tournament head, we learned quite a few things. So we learned a couple of things from the guy running the walleye tournament. One of the big things was these guys are... hold on one second. So we learned a couple of things. One of them is that these guys have a history of being real sketchy. There was a tournament the year prior in 2021 that I think it was Runyon or Kaminsky had been kicked out of. And that earlier that year and the year before, there were a couple of fishing tournaments and events that one or the other was not allowed to participate in because of issues they had. And in fact, they had used their pull and notoriety to badmouth a fishing event so much that the fishing event had to be canceled because people withdrew from it. These guys had been accused of cheating before. They had never been caught. They had done polygraphs before. The polygraphs were never satisfactory. They were always kind of sketch. So these guys had a history of being assholes and cheaters. And they very likely probably were cheating pieces of shit going back years and years now. It was very interesting, too, when the head of the Walleye Tour came up and gave his information to the court. These guys had the Lake Erie Walleye Tour had 19 events. And Kaminsky and Runyon had placed either first or were a top placer, so I'm assuming first, second, or third, in 11 of them. The next closest were guys who had won like twice. So, Raven says, how do you get kicked out of fishing? Well, I'm assuming it probably doesn't help. These guys were probably fucking dickheads. I'm sure they were nasty assholes to deal with in general. So groups kicked them out, or they thought, this guy's a cheater. He's sketchy. I don't want him here. Certainly these guys were probably not the nicest people in the world. So, I mean, like if we're just going to say, I mean, let's be honest. And, people might get mad at me for making those statements about these guys, but whatever. I'm going to say it. I'm sure these guys were just insufferable to deal with in real life. So they get up there, they forfeit their boat. The prosecution points out in that boat, there was a secret compartment that smelled of fish that had been in there. And it's likely where they had been hiding fish and cheating at other times. In addition to that, they played video, including the video I've shown in the previous videos, but we got to see, there's actually like really good iPhone footage of the fish getting cut open and the reactions afterwards. There's like a good 6-7 minutes of it. They did play. We get to watch, and I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. And they showed that all to the judge. And then eventually both Kaminsky and Runyon got a chance to talk. And they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I've done this. I've embarrassed my family. Yada, yada. Judge said, okay, well, that's great. He suspended their fishing licenses for 3 years. They did forfeit the boat. He fined them $2,500, but he told them for the fines and costs and all of that together, he would suspend half of that if they were to make a charitable contribution to a fishing organization meant to help children and actually teach people to be good sportsmen and, support the sport of fishing. So I thought that was a little different. And remember, the judge has the right to make whatever thing he does. And then it came to the end of it. He gave them probation, which is known as community control. And then the cherry on top, they got 10 days in jail starting right now. So tonight's their first night in jail, and they're going to be there for another 9 days. They will not be released early. They're going to do all 10 days. Now, is that more time than I thought they were going to get? Yeah, I thought they would get like maybe a day. But no, the judge gave them 10, and I think, you know what, that's fine. That is a deterrent. That is, should we jail these guys? Not necessarily, but examples must be made, and you guys are going to be the example today. So, Cedar Rose says something smells fishy here. Yeah. You guys are something else. Patty says they were cheating. What, dicks? Yeah, they were cheating. They were putting lead weights in fish and cheating. They won the fishing tournament by over 15 pounds over their next competitor. In fact, they also talk about, when you watch the videos, you'll see they actually have the, it's actually really good. We'll go over it tomorrow. It's very interesting. So, yeah, sat through all of it, and, they got sent away. And in reality, though, when you're an attorney, if you could take felony charges and somebody only walks away with 10 days in jail, that's pretty good. So, yeah, they're going to do 10 days in jail, and that'll be it. They'll be on probation for a while, so I'm sure they'll have fun with that. GM says 10 days in county jail. So fresh fish it is. I mean, you got to say that fresh fish it is part. You got to do like the whole like, yeah. You put your glasses on. June Shinecark says, didn't they win the prize money? They did not, because they didn't get it awarded to them. They didn't get the prize money for that tournament. Although with that tournament, all the money totaled together for that event was about 28 grand. And actually, the worst part about what these two did, the head of the Walleye Tour pointed out that because they caused so much drama and so much of a disturbance, the Cleveland Metro Parks, which is the place where they did it this year, has banned them from coming back. I mean, these guys have fucked with so many people through their just greed and stupidity. So, yep, that's done as well now. So they can't do it there. They're going to have to find another spot. They might not have one next year. So, yep. You can make fun of whoever you want. My mods don't get mad. My mods know the rules. I think right now Jim's the only mod on right now. Jim and Parallax. I mean, but no, my mods. This is Somalia, dude. This is the Bakara market. You do what you do. As long as it doesn't rest the channel, I don't really care. Jim is they were forced to carry the entire weight of their crime. Boo. So, all right, guys. So, yeah, we will cover the fishermen tomorrow. And yeah, I think it's a very, very good Noel saying these guys are going to do 10 times more time in jail than Jesse Smollett ever did. Yes. Yep. So yeah, we'll cover it tomorrow. I think it'll be fun to go through, just kind of talking about how Judge Call did everything and how everybody did it. Also, you guys can comment on my shitty camera skills, because that was a little weird doing that for the first time and actually having to pay attention. So, oh, Yorick, another 5 for a Rumble Rant says here. Thank you, by the way. Says, this is not Somalia, this is Rhodesia, because we never die. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. J-Man235 says, the fish I caught was this big. Sporkio says, so what? They lied about their weigh-ins. It's not that they lied about their weigh-ins. They actively cheated in an attempt to defraud somebody out of the prize money. So if I take money from you by by deception, that's theft. You're not allowed to do that. And if, they committed a crime by doing that. In Ohio, you are not allowed to cheat in a sweepstakes or other type of lottery or prize winning affair. I mean, that's a felony. And Ohio's made that a felony. Not every state does, but in Ohio it is. So, yeah. So, Rich is saying, Rich G saying off topic, but nice crossover with EVS. Oh yeah, on Sitch and Adam. Yeah, I like listening to Sitch and Adam, but it's so, like, when Adam's talking, you've really got to listen to him. It is so easy to kind of like do something else for a second and get caught off guard with him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, he talks, and unlike a lot of people, when they talk, there's a lot of bullshit in there. Adam's pretty good about picking the words he needs to say and how he wants to say them. And I say that with all respect. So it's easy to do, like when, you're on with somebody else, any other person, you can kind of do two things at once. But no, really with Sitch and Adam, you really have to be on top. But it also helps. They've dealt with people who are true bullshit artists throughout their career. So they're really good about knowing how to, maximize their words, be efficient with their words. And yeah, it'd be nice if I ever got back on again. I just hope I didn't sound like a complete fucking idiot, but time will tell. Um, Chaucerian fraud saying, could Trump sue that lady for false allegations, considering a jury did not find him guilty of sexual assault? Well, he was found guilty. He wasn't found guilty. He was found liable for sexual assault. You mean for the rape? No, because you would have to go back and show, if you could show malice and she knew it was wrong and she's like, ha, 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 I'm going to fuck him over with this. Sure, but you have to show all of that. That would probably be the only way you could do it. Rich G saying, notice I didn't mention Stitcher Adam. EVS is great, though. Yeah, I like Ethan. I know Ethan was pretty based, but goddamn, he's really fucking based. Like Phil from All That Remains based. So, so that's it for tonight, guys. We are going to go over to Rumble. And you know what? God damn it. We're going to have locals. And I forgot to have locals going tonight. Son of a bitch. But we're going to do the after show over at Locals, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. If you guys want to come over there, it's always a fun time. Even looser rules than here. Really just have fun. So I am going to wrap it up here. Tomorrow night, we will run the rest of that, and I think it will be a fun time. We got another super chat here. The Real Hydro PX for $5. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really, truly do, guys. Thank you so much. Says Sean, you are a true G. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, everybody here tonight, thank you so much. If you're on Twitter watching this, thank you for being here. If you're on Rumble in the ghetto there, thank you for being here. Guys, everybody here on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that. If you were here in the comments, thank you so much. I appreciate everything, even if you guys are talking about other stuff. Jim, I did not forget about that. That requires, I need to read that whole, I need to read the whole opinion because there's a bunch of things in there I think the government is now saying it's okay to do besides straw purchases. There's a couple things I've been thinking about. I'm actually probably going to email or get a hold of Matt LaRosier because I have some ideas on that one. And he'll tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I've thought about it. Don't worry. So, Rumble, guys, thank you. But YouTube, thank you so much. Guys, if you send a super chat, thank you kindly. Thank you so very much. I always appreciate that. And really, just anybody who commented, thank you again, guys. And we will be back at it again. If you guys want to know, on Monday night is the normal local stream. So remember, there's multiple things to get off over on Locals. And I will be working on getting that video out tomorrow about the fishermen. And yeah, we'll be going from there. So thank you so much, guys, and have a great night. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Except you're the fisherman. Like, yeah, you kind of had this one coming. So take care, everybody. Those guys have fun making friends and, making sure nobody steals your tray. Be a fun 9 days. Good night, guys.